Hi again, it's Pete from Records. I'm just going to take you over setting the morticer with the Chisel and Bit. This is one of our Chisels and Bits from the free pack. This is a 3/8, roughly about 10mm. So before I put it in, just give it a little wipe. And I'll give it a little bit of a spray with a bit of silicone, just give it a little bit of lubricant. And I can also do the side walls as well. And you might want to do this when you're actually running. Now, you would have probably seen in our instructions or online, people refer to as setting this with an old coin or something like that, or a 2mm gap. So all that is for is you don't want the drill bit to actually bottom out into the sleeve of the chisel, because two things really. First, the waste can't actually go up the actual chisel itself, so it's going to clog up and it's going to get it's not going to perform as well as it should. And if you bottom out into there as well, this is going to cause friction. It's going to get hot and it's going to lose its temper, and it's not going to last very long. So a small gap in there, 2mm or there or thereabouts, as long as you've got enough of a gap in there. And ideally what you don't want is the drill bit sticking out too far. All you have is in the bottom of the mortise joint you'll have little circles in the bottom. It won't matter too much if it's not for anything visual, but what you can do is when you put some glue in there, it'll sit in there, but maybe just adjust it so as it's not bottomed out and it's not sticking out too far. So put this in there, put that in place first, up into your drill, and just pinch that off and put a piece of timber underneath. So if it drops down, it's only going to fall on there, it's not going to fall all the way down and damage itself. So I've taken the screws out, so as you can see the actual drill chuck. Spin that round until you start taking up the movement of it. Lock it up nice and solid. Keep your finger underneath. So the drill bit then is cut off, so as I've got a gap there and it's into the bottom of the drill chuck. And then when I pull down on there, I'm going to do it in this mortise into a bit of oak. So it's a nice bit of material. So it's going to need a little bit of pressure as I'm actually pushing it down. So what I don't want to do is push the drill further up into the drill chuck, so as I'll lose this gap here, and then I'll start going undue wear again into the end of there. So that's done, move that out of the way. I haven't locked up my thing yet, so what I can do with our machine is actually bring that down and then adjust the chisel bit, and ideally what I do is put the window on the left hand side, and this is because as you're doing your first mortise you only want to go down to the top of the window. Bring your vice plate across to the back of the chisel and square your bit up to the face of there. I can lock that up there. So I'm squared up off there, I'm locked up, and the timber I've got here, I say is oak, it's about 20 odd mil across. So I've got 10mm bit, so if I put that across to roughly about just over 5mm. So I'm set up there. So now all I can do is introduce my vice plate, my clamp, and my piece of timber I'm actually going to work on this occasion. So I'll roughly square that off across there. Put those in to the nearest holes and lock that up. So I'm pushed up onto the back vice plate. If I bring that across to there, just pinch it. Lock that down nice and firm. So I can bring that down onto the job. Again, using this one, lock that off. And I want to go down 25mm inch. So what I can do then is bring my bottom stop up and set that to approximately 25mm on there. Just pinch that up. Move that out of the way. And because you've got an overhead stop, what you can do as well is you can shorten your stroke rather than going back all the way up. You can bring it down to what's convenient and comfortable for yourself. Especially if you're doing small jobs right down there, you don't want to keep on bringing it all down. Adjust the stop again. So I'm locked up on there. All I can do now is my side strokes. Move that across for the first one. Again, bring that one down across, line it up by eye first off. They do come in handy, these stops. And then just take my travel stop across again, pinch that up in place. And then do the other one. Again, 2i first off. And your first cut, always do it into a piece of waste. Not necessarily waste, but a piece you're not going to be using. Just check your setup. Rather than going into a nice piece of timber that you've already sized up for a job, and something's not right, then you're just going to waste it. So do a test cut first, make sure everything's okay. So that's all nicely locked up. It's where I am centrally. Put the power on. If I'm happy with the position there, or wherever I want it to set. So I'll set side strokes. I'll come across here first on my first cut. And I'll start it up. You'll see what I mean now. This is, like I say, this is oak, so drills into it now. There I'm going to have to press. And I've just got to the bottom of the window. If I take that across, and on the second cut, I can go to my full depth and the waste can come out. That's a little bit easier because I'm only cutting on 3 faces now, so we'll relieve the one cut. Finish those. What I can do then is go back to my first cut and then straight to the full depth. That's finished. All you have to do now is clean it out with your chisel, if you want to. I say you've got those little radius cuts in the bottom, but with some glue and stuff in there, it doesn't really matter as long as you've got the depth of your mortise that's going to go in there. So hopefully that's of some use to you, and I'll catch you again soon. Cheers, bye.